moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about Fortis Vision. You've had a look at their website.
Yeah, they do a lot of student accommodation, don't they? Refurbs. Yeah. I mean, I've done a few of them in my time. For Scope. Yeah, for Scope and for HG Construction, because they do the same thing. Because they've got a big one in Leeds they asked me to go to. And I asked about if they paid accommodation, and they said no. It was £100 million one. Big job. But they wouldn't pay me dig, so I didn't go. That's why
you got extensive experience of doing like working around the country.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. You name it, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every major city.
You know, as a seasoned professional in that sort of industry, you know, I guess you've seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different, you know, variations on delivery. What in your mind, in your world, with your experience, what do you do as a site manager? What's a good one look like? You know what I mean? What's it all about, Dave?
I'm just one of them old-fashioned site managers. I say what says on the tin. Site manager. I like to be on site to see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and making sure they're working safely and doing it correctly. I like to snag it as I go along, not at the end. So if I see a fault, well, he's put it on, say he's hung a door wrong, let's put it right now. Don't leave it to the end when the painter's been in and painted it and everything else. You know what I mean? I'm on it all the time. I do my paperwork. I like to do that. Like, I normally stop. I get off the site about 2 o'clock. Then I do my emails, what I need to do, how I've got to do it, fill all my forms in. But I need to be on site. I need to know what they're doing. Like when they come out and go, oh, I've got no timber. Because they'll never tell you. You know, it's no point sitting in the office. You know what I mean? You're not. It's just the modern site manager today is everywhere you go, they're behind. They're all sitting behind a desk. Most of them sit behind a desk, and you'd be lucky. You know, I was working at Wilmot Dixon, and most of the day they're sitting in the office. And I'm out on site. I mean, I was telling them what was going on and what was happening, what ain't going on. I just find it frustrating. That's all. It's the actual. I've come from the old way, from an apprentice bricklayer. Then I've got my qualification, got my sitting guilds. Then I went to West Germany. Then I picked up as a decorator, and I got paid for myself to be a decorator. And I worked all around the world as a decorator. I worked in some of the places people only dream about. You know, the Palace of Versailles, Brunei's Palace, Austin, Texas, Miami, New York, all over Europe, Italy, Germany, Berlin, everywhere. You know, and I know what a finished post look like. I know how to build it. You know, and the houses, when I go in today, the way they build houses today or they do things today is a bit slapdash.
Yeah.
I like to be on top of that and put it right before it gets plastered. And then it's like, because everyone blames everybody else. Yeah. So you need to nip it before you start. I do it like a bit the old Wilmot Dixon way. I like to do it their way. You know, they're the way they want things done. So I've picked up. You know, that's about they're still traditional on that side of it. You know what I mean? They're on it.
What do you know about Wilmot Dixon? I'm not a site manager. I'm a recruiter.
Very how would you put them? Very professional, on the ball. Yeah, believe it or not, yeah.
Why do you make the you know, you've kind of pulled them out of thin air? What is it about them that, I mean, do they set a standard or something? Are they the boys
massively. Massively, yeah. It's like their plasterboard. When you put your plasterboard on, I had to check that the screws were every 200 and had to be 2 mil away from the joint.
Yeah.
They don't split the plasterboard, so they don't. So you know what I mean? It's just little details like that which just finishes the job. And all your corners.
So you know, you've looked at the website and like you can see that
refurbishment work, a lot of it ripped out and redone again.
Like they're talking about work like retail work, education work in occupied spaces.
Done that, done that. I've worked in a lot of supermarkets, live supermarkets.
Around the world, you've done, you know, you've toured the UK. You know the difference between right and wrong.
Oh yeah.
What are the, you know, like there's like generic themes on how to deliver a good project.
Yeah.
What is it about occupied spaces? What challenges does that bring?
Keeping the public away or the students away from the area. You've got to get that safe so they ain't got to come in. If you like, they've got 10 hours or something to do a room. Yeah. So really, you've got to be everything in sequence, and it's got to be, and obviously you've got to keep people away. It's like when you do supermarkets, you'll block off the ends, but they will walk down there.
Yeah.
They'll still walk in. You could be on a scissor lift, you know, 5 meters up in the air. So you've got to have someone really standing there as well, just keeping an eye, just stopping the public going in and out, and be nice and not going to shout or scream. Just talk to them, and you find most of the time they're pretty cool about things.
Have you seen some of the statements that they make about how it's like words to the our customers are always shocked in how quickly we can do this and do that? Have you seen some of that stuff?
Yeah, I've sort of, because I've read through it, and I've got to do a lot for military stuff, don't they? Do a lot of military stuff and kids charities. I read that. I've got down to a fella called Smith. He's a project manager there, and he's saying he's been up in Manchester and he's been there and been there. So I've got that far. So yeah, I've been reading, you know, bits and pieces of it. As
I mean, you've done that sort of work in the past, that occupied space.
Yeah, it can be a real pain in the arse, to be honest with you. But it is part of the job, so you've got to think about it and just use a bit of common sense. You know, keep it clean, keep them away. You know, if you can keep them away, barrier it off, just to let them know.
What about when the problem ain't with that? The problems with you, I don't know, like maybe your supply chain, maybe you got a mob that are underperforming. How do you right that wrong?
Well, there's two ways of doing that, really, isn't there? There is two ways you can actually get on to doing that. Like I like mucking in, so I'm quite a site manager. Will get in, you know, if it's running behind, if it's a bit of taping to a bit of plastering, bit of painting, bit of carpeting. I'm not frightened to get my hands dirty and get on just to push it along. But yeah, if they're running behind, there's not a lot you can do apart from really be on their case, in their face, be there all the time, chasing them, getting it done. You know, you have to work late. Simple as that. You know, it's got to be finished. They know the time scale. Everyone knows their program, what they've got to do. Yeah. And if the deliveries, well, you know, if we're supplying it, then it's down to us. But if it's the contractors, I've got something to bite on and chase on and just give them all every day. That's what I'm saying. When you're on site, you need to know what materials they've got, what they haven't got. Just ask them every day. Write down a list. Right, you need this, you need some egg track, you need some doors, you need this, you need the door furniture. You need that. So I know I've got it. So when we're going into these rooms, we've got the materials to do it, and there's no excuse. It wouldn't just be the sake of them being lazy. Yeah. You know, you've got to be in that room or in that area all the time, chasing them up, get them off the phone, talking to their wives and girlfriends or whatever. Let's get the job done.
Yeah. And I guess with that sort of, you know, your experience, you can. I imagine it's difficult to pull the wool over your eyes in terms of what is realistic, a good day's work and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I mean, you watch them and it's just and the things they come out with, because it is, just behave yourselves. You know what I mean? Just you know, it's a little bit of skirting, or you go in them rooms, you ain't gonna have a lot of skirting, and you ain't gonna have a lot of doors to hang. If it's a fire door, you got to make sure it's all done correctly. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's the main thing. But the rest of it is drying times for painting, I suppose, making good and filling. It's all got to be programmed, you know, at the end of the day. If you got to work late, you work late. Simple as that. Job's got to get done. There's no ifs or buts. It's never a tomorrow. You keep hearing that, there's always tomorrow, but there ain't. You know, someone says to me, Dave, you've got, I don't know, a week to do 10 rooms, then that'll be it. That's my target. That's my job, to get it done in that time. And everybody else knows that score, and that's how you do it, you know. You haven't got to shout, you haven't got to scream, you haven't got to be a complete arsehole like most of them are. You know, you just got to talk to the guys, work with the guys, and you find it always works. I've never, ever in 14 years I was a site manager, never had a problem. Never. I've never had to sack anybody. I've never had to yellow card anybody. You talk to guys, you talk to the contractors, and you find you get a lot more response. Yeah. Trouble is, a lot of site managers on site who are 25, 26. You can never be a site manager if you haven't got a trade.
Well, I guess it's that old story about what makes a good leader. You know what you're doing, you know how to do it, you're mucking in, you're leading by example, you know, and you're either on board or you ain't. And you know. I
mean, I'm not shy. I'm thinking we're running behind. When you're
not doing this, are you a football man, for instance?
I used to, years ago, but I'm only like 5'6".
Well, help me out on this one, right? If I was to say to you, like, if we talk about football, like, I don't know, do you ever see Alan Shearer play? No, what was he all about? He was a striker. He played up front. He once scored 52 goals in a season. He was captain of England. He was an old-fashioned striker. He get amongst it. He was strong. He had a mean shot on him, and he scored as many out of the box as he did inside the box. It's like, I understand football. I've never seen that fella before, but I know exactly what he's all about now. And if I was to do something similar for myself about work, I'd say to you, I've been in construction recruitment for 21 years. I've worked as a search consultant, for a recruitment company. I then worked 6 years for one of my clients who were like a management consultancy doing quantity surveying. Worked there for 6 years, did all of their recruitment. I then set up on my own in 2012, right? And all I've done over the years is mainly quantity surveying and project management in construction. I place someone on average, I get paid about 10 grand. Over the years, I've probably done about £5 million worth of fees. It's like, you don't really know how I do what I do, but they're kind of like my achievements. How would you so imagine it might be like a bit of a game show intro. Hello, my name's Dave, I'm 46, I'm a site manager for Cheshunt, I've managed projects. How would you describe yourself so that I could see that you're good at what you do?
I like to think that you give me a target and I will do the utmost to get it done. How I'll get it done doesn't matter. Even I've got to get my hands involved. I like to be in the thick of it, and I like to think I'll get on well with all the contractors, all my project men. I've not had a fallout of anybody. I've always sat down and I found just talking to people. And my vision is that if you give me, say, that's what you got to do, I want it done, and I will do whatever I can. If I've got to work 24 hours, I'll get that done. There ain't
what is it you're doing, Dave? What are we delivering? What's your background? Where if you was to kind of summarise what you've managed over the years?
Oh, right, I could start. Right, let's start. Where do you want to start? I've done a hell of a lot of different things, from doing car showrooms, building new car showrooms, stills and all the cladding, brickwork, all the foundations, setting all the groundworks in. I've done supermarket, built brand new supermarkets, RC frame buildings, new work, house bashing. Oh, I've just done different.
Refurb. You done much refurb for work?
Yeah, and refurbs. Continually, what happens is I normally build it and I do the internal fit out as well.
Wow.
I do the whole lot. There ain't normally it's just me as a site manager, and a project manager will come once a week, have a chat, then blah blah blah. I'll do the whole lot myself. So I know what's going on around me, if you know what I mean. Cool. Everything. You need to know what's going around me. I need to know when he answers me the question, I've got to give him an answer, So I like to be there. So I've done various sort of things. I've worked in places, hanging wallpaper at £1,000 a drop. You go and work in the Palace of Versailles, you just don't pick up you need to know what you're doing. Palace, Brunei's Palace, you're talking about quality. I've worked in some of the top Langham hotels, all the Hiltons, all the Sheratons in America, all high-end stuff, I worked on cruise ships. That was quite funny. Yeah, so yeah, from Gibraltar back to Southampton, that was good. So high-end, it's hard to describe what I am. I'm very, I'm laid back, but you give me a target, that's just from being all my life. That's your job, that you give me a program, and that's my job to get it done. And how I do it. If I've got to do it better than Aaron Shearer, then I'll do it better than Aaron Shearer. You know what I mean?
If I was to say to you, look, you've got, starting from now, yeah. Yep. I'm gonna, here's a clip. It's like if you know what they're looking for, you kind of know what they do, you know what your background is, you've got 20 seconds to tell us, what's it all about? What do you reckon that you're relevant for this? Are you head shoulders? Are you the best man on the planet? I mean, to summarise how you feel about this whole thing right now. What are your thoughts?
I'd like to say I'm a middle of the road site manager. I wouldn't like to say I'm good, because there ain't such thing as a good site manager or a project manager, because everyone makes the odd cock up every now and then. So I like to think I'm in the middle. I like to just do my job. I'm not interested in all the crap what goes with it. I'm just ahead. For some reason, I've got a vision. That's it, and I'll just keep going. I haven't got no I just need to get that done, and that's it. It's as simple as that. I just like to think I'm an easygoing site manager. I like to get things done, and the best. Well, we haven't got the real skill these days, as you know. You go around the sites, and it's not particularly great, some of them. But you know, you try and get your best out of these guys, and try and push them to get it done, and just be polite with them, you know, and tidy, and work. Everyone's working safe. That's it, you know. And then you know, I'm not the site manager who's sitting upstairs all day long. I'm not that type of manager. I just ain't. I just not interested in sitting upstairs looking important or going to work with a suit on. I mean, I've got my old work clothes on, you know. I've been sweeping floors and rubbing down woodwork today, and just touching bits and pieces up, you know, and hoovering up the floor and washing windows.
All right. Well, look, I've got everything I need, right? But something's come up that I want to share with you. So let's end on this, right? I think a big part of what we've experienced from their previous suppliers is they don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to cut corners. Like, these are the questions they ask, and these are the answers that they require, right? And I'm like, I find it laughable. It's like, you're doing it wrong. Pack up, you're doing it wrong, right? So I'm going to put something on you now, and it demonstrates the fact that I've not led you at all, right? And it's quite amusing. I think it's quite entertaining. See, you reference Wilmot Dixon.
Yep.
How would you feel if I was to tell you that the fella that I'm dealing with at Fortis, the managing director, cut his teeth at Wilmot Dixon? He was senior manager director level, like through the 90s and early 2000s, operations director sort of thing.
All right, cool.
For Wilmot Dixon. The fellas that he's got wrapped around him come out of the same environment.
Same mold. Yeah, because it's like,
you know, this is the reason I've left it to the end, because you know, you and I haven't discussed that. No. You've kind of like brought it to the conversation. Well, how's your luck?
And I've done a job for him in Alexandra Palace for him. That was a nice job doing that one there, Ali Pally. Yeah, and then I just done a big one for because I only employ you for 6 months at a time when you're freelance. I don't know why, but they are very quiet at the moment. Wilmot Dixon. Really quiet, yeah. But they're a good company.
The guys that I'm dealing with, the chap I'm dealing with, the MD is David Borthwick.
All right.
And he's got a couple of others wrapped around him with names. Nicky Tid.
No, I'm not. The one. I've just been a project manager.
It was just an interesting aside for me. Right, in terms of a forward action plan, this will go across to them. They've got a golf day.
All right, yeah, see them.
Wednesday, Thursday next week. He said it'd be nice if we had a couple of them to look at prior to that.
Yep.
And as I've already shared with you, I've made a right pig's ear out of what I've done so far. I'm going to have to do that again. it might be that all I've got to send to them right now is this.
Well, at least now you can go back to them and do it again now, because now you know you've roughly worked it out.
This is it. So sit tight, have a good weekend. We'll pick this up early next week, and it'll be they're mobilising to do interviews, and it might be early the week after or the back end of next week. But I'll well, I've got good weather next week to sit around and do absolutely nothing, so that'd be cool. Well, I'm glad we got there in the end, my friend. Thanks for persevering, and I'll be in touch.
Great stuff. You take care, mate. Thanks for your time, Dan. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.